Bill, will you please be sworn and please please stand.
Father, gracious Father, I want to thank you for the blessings that's poured upon us each and every day. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here today and to act as a board for the city of Laf City. We ask that your blessings be bestowed upon each and every one that's here. We ask a special blessing upon the members of the council, Lord, help them make wise decisions to help move the city of Laf City forward. These things we ask in your name.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated.
Stand, call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer. Present. Mr. Bollinger. Here. Ms. Thompson.
Here.
Mr. Wilson. Here. Mayor Stanfield.
Here. Item number 4, approval of your minutes from April 2017 meeting. What's the council's pleasure?
Make a motion we approve.
Have a motion, Ms. Thompson.
Second.
Have a second, Mr. Bowman. Call the roll.
Mr. Archer.
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 5, reports from your boards, your committees, your department heads. What's the pleasure? Have a motion by Joe. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Ron. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer.
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger.
Yes.
Ms. Thompson.
Yes.
Mr. Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item number 6, any comments from the citizens? Noted being none. Any announcements? Jimmy, you got some?
Mayor, I've got some. Next month, we need to change the workshop day. That Monday's actually Memorial Day. The city will be closed that day. We could probably just change it to the next day, that Tuesday, which will be the 30th instead of the 29th. If that's good with everybody.
That's all right.
Is that fine with everybody?
That's fine, dude.
Spoke with Kenny Bayer today. Just want to make the council aware that the water line project that you all voted to do at the country club, the only thing they're waiting for now, their contractor is held up a little bit because of the rains, they're a little bit behind, but they will be starting the project here in the next, shortly. He didn't actually have a definite deadline, but he said that that's the only thing that's holding them up is the contractor is held up. And I
And
spoke,
Jimmy, that was too far out and try.
I think so.
Yeah, too.
Davina from Community Development Partners called after the call at the end of last week on the Safe Route to School project. It's coming in more than TDOT allotted for the project. She said they had originally allotted the amount and TDOT had cut it back. She said it's approximately $30,000. So they're in a position where they can either, in the engineering phase, where they can either cut back on the project, or she says, since this is the last year for Safe Route to Schools, that we technically will be on the hook for the $30,000, but we will be able to get 80-20 money for a match, and she said there are some 100% money left over because the last year there's some money left in that pot, and she thinks she can get 100% money. But she called between, and I guess that's, if you all can just give me a direction to go, if you want me to tell her to short the project, or if you want me to tell her to go ahead with it.
It cost us $6,000.
If she gets 80-20, yeah, technically she's going to apply for it, and she was sure she could get 80-20. Technically, we'll be on the hook for the whole $30,000, but she said, or approximately $30,000. She didn't have a hard number at this time because they're still working the engineering stuff out. She said somewhere around 30. But she said she's pretty sure she can get the 80-20, and she thinks she can get the 100%. So she don't know. Those are not, until the paper's signed, those are not definite. Yeah, they're not guaranteed. But she feels strongly like she can get the 80-20 at the very minimum.
If you get the 80-20, our portion will be in this year's budget, will the upcoming budget for next year.
I would think we could pay it in next year's budget because the project's not even, they're still in the engineering phases, and I would think we could probably pay it in next year's budget. So unless you you got 80/20, that'd be $6,000 for the sidewalk project, so, I mean,
I think we should go ahead with it.
Is that a motion, Andy? You made a motion?
Yes.
well, you're probably gonna have to suspend, do you mind to make a motion to suspend the rules?
I make a motion to suspend the rules.
Second.
All right, motion to call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer?
Because she called after the workshop, and we didn't talk about it in the workshop.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Mrs. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, Jimmy.
And I'll make a motion to, that we go ahead and do it.
Second.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right, Jimmy.
Let's see. Water line, I've got one more thing.
What was your fish fry?
Yeah, we'll be having the fish fry this Friday from 11 to 1. So it'll be at the West Falls School at a cafeteria.
Okay.
It's supposed to be pretty cool that day, so we'll have it inside.
Okay. Well, let me ride the roll for it.
I don't know what date that is. I think it's on the,
May 5th.
yeah, it's May 5th on the fish fry. Give me an answer to that later, 'cause
Okay.
I'm not pleased.
Okay.
The only other thing, I think in this upcoming budget, something I'd like to consider in this upcoming budget year, our local chapter of the National Wild Turkey Federation does a lot of good things for the community that nobody ever hears about. They have a day, it's just right outside the city limits at the ball farm, for children in August. It's August the 19th. And they serve 250 children, don't cost them anything, but they put on an outdoor day for them, and then they feed them and their parents or grandparents, whoever comes. 250 children, it takes about 150 volunteers plus the parents and grandparents. So they serve about 600 people during that time. And they also, one other thing they do is they put on Wounded Warriors Hunt for 26 veterans every year. And, you know, we give to a lot of good things. I mean, we give to the mine safety, we give to the fishing tournaments that have started coming up. We give money to a lot of good things. They are a 501c3. And just food for thought for the upcoming budget year, I'd like for y'all to consider budgeting a little bit of money for them.
I went with Jimmy this past Friday up there in Stanton Creek for the wounded veterans. And me being a Vietnam veteran and see those guys, you know, we think we're in bad shape, but to see those veterans up there with a leg off or both legs off or arm or mentally messed up, it'll break your heart. And I feel that, you know, us being the city, we ought to try to fund some of these things for veterans. So Jimmy, you got it?
No, you know, it's just, don't slow them down a bit though. They go out and do what they want to do and have a good time. Some of them are in wheelchairs, but
Oh, yeah.
they still don't slow them down a bit. They've got a super attitude about it, and
They also sponsor a juvenile hunt.
yeah, they sponsor a juvenile hunt for some children too.
Yeah, I think it's what, Billy Ball and Terry Lewis now. They're really involved.
Really good job. I was on Thursday night when they were putting up the tents, and there's a group of men and women all showed up to participate in getting it ready.
Yeah.
I sat and watched.
I tell you, Billy Ball and Tommy Olson, you can tell them guys for always being there when something like that happens.
Well,
And we really appreciate it. But when we start doing our budget here before long, let's try to think about trying to sponsor some of these events for the veterans, you know, and the kids, y'all. All right, Jim, that's all you got. Council, anything else? All right. Under administration, item number 1, approve to accept bids on the HVAC maintenance contract. That'd be a lot of our buildings, and we need approval to go ahead and accept bids. Send out bids? Okay.
Send out to receive bids.
All right, do I have a motion?
I make a motion to send out for bids.
I have a motion, man, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Hot Rod and Bill. Call the roll, man.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bellinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Motion carries. All right, item number 2 says approve transferring creek cleanup funds to RV Park at $5,000. Mr. Wilson has pulled that off the agenda. And, we talked about when we was doing this clean up the creek, we was gonna, re-sow it in grass and plant some dogwood trees and red buds. And I'd like for this, go ahead and take that $5,000 and do what we thought we was gonna do with it. Plant some trees, nice trees.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Mr. Wilson, have a second.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, motion to do what?
Take that $5,000 and finish what we started, planting those trees.
It's already in that fund, Mayor. It's
Okay.
in that creek fund. Yeah,
Okay.
it's already in the fund.
All right,
It's sitting there still in that line item.
all right.
So you probably, if
I
y'all want to
I
do.
thought that's what we originally had planned.
Yeah,
What we
you
were
don't-
gonna
you
do
don't
was
need
to
to-
plant more trees and to
Clean
clean
it
it
up,
up.
yeah.
It hadn't been done yet.
Put the dogwoods out.
Yeah.
Some nice trees. And keep them back away from the creek.
Yeah.
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 All right, so I got a motion for $5,000 for Hot Rod, go ahead and finish it, and you second it.
We don't need to have to make a motion.
Oh, any motions? All right. All right, Rob. All right, we'll go back to the AV Park another day. Okay, item number 3, discussion of mobile home, Paul Sweat. I was telling Paul here a while back about it, that my father has in 40 John Smalley, it's good to see a double wide trailer, it's a real nice trailer. And he's needing a shelter for some men, Paul will.
When we started out on 300 East Prospect, I went around when it started and asked some of the neighbors over there, talked to some of them, didn't get to talk to some of them, and last year I went over and mowed the grass, and it come up that maybe there's some people that live in the neighborhood that didn't want it there, which that's totally understandable. Don't want to really move in and, infringe on people. So, like I said, Mike did mention that, and the 501c3 is a long process. So we got down to the 1023 form and sent it in, that third part. They sent it back because they had to have 2 separate things. It was on one sheet of paper that was sent in and it had to be fixed. So we sent it back in and they sent it back, and all it needed was a signature. So I sent in with a signature and called the IRS yesterday to kind of figure out where we are on that. And it's the IRS. So just waiting to hear that back. Now, in regards to the land, I've been looking around at some property and been praying about it, and found a couple of properties, been out to a couple different places. And then I found a piece of property and they're wanting probably $15,000 for it. I talked to the realtor and she said, talked to her Thursday about it, was asking questions about it, and I told her I'd pray about it and give her, she said, well, can you make an offer? So I called her back Friday and told her I couldn't make an offer, but what I'm thinking about doing is putting it on a land contract. That way it can buy the property and have it set up. But like I said, the IRS is the IRS, and hopefully we'll be hearing back from that. It is quite a long process, but it's one of those things that you have to cross your T's and dot your I's. So
Where's this piece of property at, Bob?
where I looked at it at was where Doc Howard's old place is. You cut there and you go out through there about a quarter of a mile, and it's on the left down there.
Now, Paul, before we can even, participate and give you the double wide trailer, you have to be a 501c3.
Yeah, and like I said, the IRS is, I'm just waiting to hear back from the IRS. But I do understand if you need to get rid of it and you have to move it out of there and you don't want to pursue this, I totally understand.
Mayor, if y'all want me to, I'll call John Snodley tomorrow and see how long he's willing to hang on to it, and then get with Paul and see if that fits in his time frame. I think when Mr. Snodley wants to get rid of it, if we've accepted it, we've about to move it.
Yeah.
But I'll see how long he's willing to hang on to it for Paul.
I thought we discussed it last month and he wanted it moved as soon as possible.
Well, I talked to John, and he was wanting to blacktop that parking lot.
Right.
For parking. Okay, he's gonna have to pay Rogers Group to come in here and set up, but when they come in and start doing our streets, they'll already be here, he wants to pay them anyway, because they'll be over blacktop. So, it'd be a win situation for John, to sit tight of it for a while.
I hadn't spoken to him at all about this. I think I've been doing talking to him most. I don't care to call him and ask him for a date that he wants it gone. And then if that's what, at the pleasure of the council, if that's what the council wants me to do, I'll mind to do that tomorrow.
Is that good for you, Bob?
Sounds good to me.
Or council? I'm good with it. Joe? Andy?
Fine.
All right, Mr. Paul?
I really do.
All right, Mr. Paul.
Can you let us know as soon as you talk to him, Jimmy?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Number 4 is the add-on. You know, we talked about the workshop, the mini excavator for the street department, and, you know, Jim's got some money left over from that truck, right, Jim? And, you want to comment on Jim?
We got the money from selling that truck to Jacksboro. Then I've got some money left over from putting an extension boom arm on that mower tractor. The two together is $36,000 and change. I can get a new one, if it's your all pleasure, for $52 and change. That's Caterpillar.
Right.
So, and like Joe commented the other night, that would be one thing off of the wish list anyway. So, if y'all see fit, we can use it, need it, and whatever your all pleasure is.
Well, we've talked about it for about 2 or 3 years.
Yeah,
Jimmy's still looking on the website for military surplus for a big one.
well, that's a big one he's looking
Right.
at. This is a small one that would get in, and I'm not talking about little bitty, but easy to mobilize, get in tight places and so on where it's hard to, it just would be a good investment for the city and really be an asset to us.
How far would it reach, Jim?
I'm thinking 11 feet, 11 or 12 straight out, about 9 or 10 deep.
Is it about like the one in Shelby's got Jim up here right now when he's got?
So that would probably go a long ways on helping us on South Mass, wouldn't it?
Oh, it would, that,
The flow or flooding. Because I spoke to T-Dec last week, and they told us we could not put anything in that creek if we couldn't reach out there and get it. We had to carry it out by hand.
Been hard done. Been done.
Water, got in hand.
Do what, Bill? Yeah, then once you get in the creek, that oil and stuff. All right. Let's see now. We're gonna come up with some money for this thing. 60,000?
about 16, I think 36 and 16, close to 52. Is
Okay.
that about right?
Yeah. All right. You heard Jim.
You got to donate.
Pardon?
Ask Charles Elder.
Charles was on a tight ship anyway. You got Jim's recommendation and Jimmy's administrator. What's council's pleasure?
I make a motion, we do it, Mayor.
Have a motion by Hot Rod to have a second.
I'll second.
Have a second for Joe Colorado.
Mr. Archer,
Yeah.
Mr. Bollinger,
Yes.
Ms. Thompson,
Yes.
Mr. Wilson. Yes.
Motion carries. All right. Good, Jim.
From past history, tell Terry where to get the money. So that's the first thing he'll ask me when he hears you all approve it. Where'd they say get the money?
Terry, you can either give out fund balance or reach down deep in your back pocket and pull any bill off.
Well, you've got $10,000 spread to the budget for sales of fixed assets, and then I need to check and see how much we sold. Then out of that money, we have to send a check to the Department of Mental Health. So I've got to have $10,000 first before you've got any money.
When are we gonna have that
Will that work for the last week of the month when we have the surplus sale of the land and all the vehicles and stuff?
Well, long as it's in this budget period, we budget about $10,000 each year for sale of surplus assets. So until I get $10,000, at least, then that covers the budget that we're in now.
Do we take it out of the surplus? And sell the surplus merchandise? Rather than out of fund balance?
If we have, we have the money, I think.
You have enough money.
Yeah, we probably need to visit that in this upcoming budget cycle too, because I believe, unless I'm wrong, Chief, they've changed that law, and the seizures now go to Department of Mental Health if you seize a car. Yeah, mother.
So we're writing him a check about $10,000 to $12,000 out of that money every year for the last 2 years.
How much, Terry?
$10,000 to $12,000.
Going to mental health?
And
There's a change in the law and the seizure law.
so see, whatever the sale of surplus auction is, you have to take that, deduct 10,000, and then that check to see if you've got any money left, period.
Is that the police department cars that they seized, or is that the city surplus property that you're giving the money?
Well, you know, when they do the auction, they do it all together, but
We're
It comes
not
out to-
only selling that, the police department seized vehicle, we're selling surplus city property.
yeah, right. But like I said, I've got $10,000 that goes to the general fund up front, that's spread to all the budgets. And if you do a surplus auction sale, I've got to have $10,000 to fix for the budget before anything else. Yeah.
Yeah, we got 4 houses.
And we'll be there.
Yeah, okay.
We'll have enough.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as I get,
You'll be,
yeah.
All right.
okay.
All right.
Do
Under
they need to
police.
be made into a motion to take the money out of the surplus auction to cover that for Jim?
We're gonna read that.
The 16?
Yes.
Yeah. No.
No, I think that may have to, I think that has to be.
Oh, no.
What's the excess going to the general fund? Or are you gonna make a budget amendment?
Yeah, we need to
It
put
doesn't
that.
need to be specified that way, we'll see if we budget amendment.
Okay.
Vote on the budget.
All right. All right, let's get Jim, let's get Bill here, okay? Under police department, item number 1, approve a computer bid. Chief, you wanna talk about?
Sure, we received a $15,000 grant from State of Tennessee Department of Justice. It is a 100% grant, no match from the city, so we're receiving this money. However, when we submitted the grant, we had to specify exactly what we were going to purchase. We're buying computers, which are basically MDTs, mobile data computers for the cars, for the patrol cars. And so we went out to bid. We had one bid that came in, it was Office Depot, and that's the only people that supply the bid, and it meets the grant.
All right. You have the police chief's recommendation, what's council's pleasure?
Was there any of your funds, any of your computer stuff come under the state bid contract?
Just these, what this is this is specifically for the in-car computers. So that the officers can take they can take the computers out to the field with them, to complete their reports and things of that nature, but it's specific to that.
A lot of times the state has that type of stuff on a bid contract, like his excavator.
Right, we looked at that, but what we're looking for is these are Panasonic tough books, is what they're called, and there's only a few people that actually carry these things. And they have the hard shell that if they're dropped, they still operate.
All right. You have enough?
I make a motion we approve the bid.
I have a motion by Bill, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a second by Ann, call those names.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carries. I have one more comment, I should have made it earlier, but Jim gave us a list of the streets to be blacktopped, and there's a total of 79 streets, and Kelly and Jim went around and looked at the streets, and he come in roughly right at 1.45 million, right, Jim? That's just a ballpark figure. Yeah.
Now, a couple of comments. This does not include our STP paving.
Right.
And there's 2 or 3 streets on here that are gravel. And we have to gravel and grade them ourselves. That's not included, gravel and grading is not included. The milling, where it's necessary, where there is curb and gutter, is included. And one thing that is included, I'll have to hunt it, but anyway, it's on this list, is to correct this problem with this curve out here on Central. You know, that curve's only about so high. So it's included one of these. I'd have to hunt it. But, to mill and resurface the parking lane on the south side of Central from Tennessee to Indiana. And, a lot of the problem we've had, in fact, most of it, that we've had with flooding out there on Central, that's been paved and paved and paved, and you don't have much curb left.
Right.
So to mill that out and resurface it, back to where we've got the full 6 inches of curb, it'll give that capacity to carry 3 times the water it does now. So that's included in here too.
Yeah. Do you remember, Jim, back when you first took over with Max and I was there, we done Beach Street up here and we didn't mill the curbs. Then we went through and blacktop, it made a bump when people went in their driveway. We had to go and put those, like a ramp up to it. And it just caused a major water problem right there. So.
Well, the Beach Street, of course, is not on here.
Yeah.
That's a separate project.
Right.
But the Beach Street project does include milling it down to where the new surface will match the gutter.
Okay.
When we get into that, I just told that in.
I just want to run it by council. This is quite a few streets to blacktop through, and I really appreciate you doing it, Jim. All right, anything else?
Do we need to put that out for bid down there, or do we need to go ahead and make it for bid? Let's get started on it.
Yeah. Hey, Jim, they give you a time frame when they can start, Kelly?
No, we have to advertise, don't we, Terry?
You do.
We have to advertise. I think after month run it a minimum 3 weeks.
Just
Give them
a
about
reasonable
3
time.
weeks.
No, just a reasonable time to let somebody do it.
The T-Dot rule is 21 days.
Oh, is it?
Today, they told us in that class we do it.
Yeah, we
3
spent that
weeks.
class today.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy and Barbara and I said, oh, our T-Dot.
I didn't pay attention, did you?
5 hours.
We paid attention.
But anyway,
He wasn't asleep, Barbara.
you have to advertise for 3 weeks, give them 3 weeks before you
That's
can
what I'm saying, we need to
make a deadline for the bids.
get it to go.
So you're looking at least 6 weeks, if we can get the ad in the paper this week, can we, Terry? Is it too late to get the ad in the paper this week?
I bet it.
Yeah, it's too
That's
late to
too
get
late,
it
really
this
late.
week.
Maybe next week. I agree with George on this. We got to be.
So we're looking at 7 weeks at best,
Okay.
I move
before we can even open the bids.
I got a motion,
I'll
Jim.
tell you something that'll save you some time if y'all are interested in doing it, because every bit of the T-Dot stuff is laid down by statute. If you just want to make a motion to follow the T-Dot guidelines in this paving, then you won't have to come back and approve everything over and over. If you want to approve it over and over, that's up. I mean, if you want to do it, if you want to do each step, or if you just want to do the T-Dot guidelines, either way y'all want to do it.
Joe, you want
I'd
to?
rather just do all of it.
feel like that's a better way.
I think we should probably follow the T-Dot guidelines, but approve the bids and that kind of stuff when they come in. But I think, there's a lot of small things in there that will have to be put on there. I think follow the T-Dot guidelines, but approve all of the bids when they come in.
I'll make that formal motion.
I have a motion by Joe, have a second.
I'll say that.
Second by Bill, call those down.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mr. Bollinger?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
This is, by the way, state mix asphalt. It's state approved mix asphalt mix.
All right. Okay, Jim, thanks. Anything else from full council?
almost Ann and Jimmy and myself, and Hot Rod drove a majority of these streets, and we didn't come up here just because we didn't know exactly until Jim went out and on his own, went and measured these streets and done a wonderful job and getting this addition to them.
There's a lot more streets than what you think of.
Amen.
You know,
A
been
lot
there.
more than what we anticipated when then.
Jim, do you know how many miles it is?
Or,
How many miles this is?
I don't know, I didn't total them out. We totaled the streets, and, another thing that affects the pricing is the width, you know.
Right.
Some streets are narrow, some are wider, and you can't really go by a mile on computing this. And some of them have to have what they call a leveling course before it's run first, then surface it. Some of them can be surfaced the way they are. There's several factors that go into putting this together. So miles, number of miles, is, even though it would be interesting to know, but it's really insignificant in putting the price together.
Kelly's done this for quite a few years. I said he won't miss it much, will he, Jim? No. Jim, you have something else?
Yeah, Mayor, I think we need to recognize the city employees, especially the street department, and fire department, for everything they did this past weekend. Weekend before in the flood.
Thank you.
Not only them, the
It was
police
a
department.
mess. The police department and everybody.
Traffic control.
Yeah, everybody that we had.
Everybody doing a great job.
That poor little fireman laid down on his belly and looked down through that tile. I thought he was gonna go through it.
I've never seen that much water drawn to us.
There's a lot of water.
They need to do a great job. We've got some good employees. So, you have a motion to adjourn?
You had a bunch of water too, didn't you?
We did.
Ann's always got water over. Right, Nick?
Right.
We vacuumed it out and piped it yes over the years.
Only one creek's up.
Yeah, especially a crease up. All right, this meeting's adjourned.
Call the order, Mayor Board, call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mayor Stanfield?
Here.
Ms. Thompson?
Here.
Mr. Wilson?
Here.
Chairman Bollinger?
Here. We do have a permit tonight, the Boston Country Club, Bryce Andrew Roach.
It's not here. No.
Everything over there.
Everything's over.
I make a motion, gentlemen.
Got a motion to hear second.
Second.
Motion second, call the roll, please.
Mr. Archer?
Yes.
Mayor Stanfield?
Yes.
Ms. Thompson?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, Joe.
Being no further business, entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion made, Joe.